Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Javier. If you don't already know me, I am here to give you a comprehensive guide into the Minecraft modded experience. Today we are looking at the forestry add-on mod, Career Bees. Now, when I first looked at this mod, I was thinking it was just going to be another one of those mods that just adds a load of bees and they all get you different resources. But actually, this one is really different and really cool. You can see I've got my new armor on here. Let's get into it. So, first of all, there are no new hives or anything like that from this mod. It doesn't add any new world generation. However, it does add a new gear set and some honeycomb ingots and also a BB gun, which is really, really cool. So this is powered by honey, and you can, if you're using forestry, refill it in a bottler, but I'm assuming you can just refill this in any sort of main way you'd refill something. Its main use is to actually fire bees of the Career Bees branch, so any bees that have an effect. And when you shoot them out of this gun, it will use the effect on specific targets, like blocks and mobs and things like that. And some of their effects are also changed when they're used with the gun. So if you shift and right click, it'll open up a GUI and you can insert the bees in and check them out. Honey, the BB gun has remaining. And then you can like right click it and it'll fire the bee into the topmost hexagon in the GUI if it can be fired using the BB gun. So using a queen or a princess will have infinite uses, while using a drone will only have one use. So that's a really good bit to remember. So these are the kind of bees that you're going to want to use it on. The miner bee will mine any block it's fired at. Similarly, the Silky Miner queen will, and the Fortunate Miner one, will mine with Silk Touch or Fortune Free respectively. Then you've got the Quantum Strange queen, or that will sometimes swap the block that it's fired with a nearby block of a similar material. So interesting use cases there. The Assassin one will kill the queen in whichever housing you fire it at, which is kind of a bit of a meme, I guess. The Energy Queen will apply energy to blocks that it is fired at, that also accepts RF, and multiple energy bees can give energy to the same block, but I think it's a very low amount. The Police Queen will attack hostile mobs it's fired at. Using that method, however, won't actually generate the police incident report. That's only when it's in the hive. The Mad Scientist Queen will only spawn a localized explosion around the block it's fired at, so kind of like TNT or a creeper. The Mason Queen is actually going to be fired at specific blocks of like cobblestone, stone, diorite, andesite, etc. And while also working at a faster speed than normal. So again, these are kind of memey. And any bees that use their effect, by the way, on a flower pedestal can be fired at a specific flower pedestal when using the gun. And similarly, any bees that use their effect on entities will work the same way. In order to actually get the bee armor, and I don't think it has any sort of actual effect, I think it is just literally the armor values you see here and looks cool, you're going to want to use Honeycomb Ingots. And to get these Honeycomb Ingots, these are from the Honey Smelter Bee, okay? And the same with the BB gun, it's made in this shape, and then the armor is made exactly like you'd have your normal armor, but with the Honeycomb Ingots instead. So that's cool. Then we have 5 new frames. So first up is the Mutation Frame. This is meant to highly increase the mutation chance of your bees. There's no actual crafting recipe for it at the moment, and therefore it is creative only currently. You will not be able to actually use that unless you're in creative. Then you have the Eternal Frame. This puts production of your bees down to 0, but does up the lifespan by a ridiculous amount to the point where it will basically never die. And the way you make this is from 2 clocks, a proven frame, which you need to get from villager trading, a yang and a yin essence. So the yin is from a quantum bee, and the yang is from a quantum strange bee, and that's a 10% chance to get that when you're using those bees. So you'll obviously go into how to breed those in a minute. Next up is the poison frame, and that is going to be 8 sticks like this and any sort of poison potion, and that is simply going to give you a poison effect around your apiary. Then it's the pheromone frame. That is simply an untreated frame and a piece of paper. That will actually give a chance to make these pheromone vials in the apiary, but unfortunately these actual vials don't have any use at the moment, so it's pretty useless. Then there's a settings frame, and I can't find anything about this online. I don't know if this is like something in the to do with the config file or something, but yeah, it doesn't seem to have any use at the moment. Then we have the Alvieri frame holder, and this is a really cool add-on to the forestry Alvieri. And the forestry frame holder is simply an Alvieri block and an untreated frame. And what this does is it gives you a frame slot within an Alvieri. So usually an Alvieri has a lot faster production, etc., but that doesn't have any frames frame slots. Whereas with this, you can add in a slot and it will add the effect of that frame. So you can really like increase or change the way your Alvieris work with this block, which I think is really, really cool. The police incident report is from the police bee, and the police bee will like kill mobs. And when it does kill mobs, it'll drop a police incident report. And that's how you get that. There is also the Triquetra, which I can't find any information about. There's no crafting recipe, so I don't know if this is totally useless. Then there is the flower pedestal, which is simply 3 sticks and a flower in the middle like this. And what that does is you can place items on it. You can even place a flower pedestal on a flower pedestal. But like the apiary here, you can see goes onto it. You can't put the BB gun because it's like a handheld item, but any block that you can place in the world, you can put on the flower pedestal, which I think is really awesome. I hope that was useful. Next up, we're actually going to go on to the breeds of bees that it adds. So the first one you're going to want to get is the student bee. And this is from a common and a cultivated. And it needs a bookshelf underneath the hive, okay? So these can actually be shift right clicked onto an apiary. And it's going to alert you when the queen is gone. So that's actually really useful. Then we have the collecting bee. This is a student and a common. And it's a 50% chance. And I think all of these bees, they don't really give anything interesting. It's just kind of honeycombs. But the collecting bee picks up items in their inventory. So special, I guess there's a few use cases for that. Graduate bees are student and common as well with a 50% chance. And they actually restore the effect of chromosomes of any purebred career bee if it's lost them. So you place the bee you wish to retrain on a nearby flower pedestal to do that. Then we have the PhD queen, and that is going to be a student and a graduate. And they do the same. They do retraining, so same as the graduate one does, but I'm guessing it's a bit faster maybe. Then we have artistic ones, and that is a graduate and a cultivated. This actually creates works of art and hangs them up nearby, which is hilarious. Then we have the armourer queen. So that's a graduate and a graduate, which is mental, but it requires an anvil as a foundation under the apiary. And this will actually keep you protected. So it buffs armour placed on nearby flower pedestals. So I'm guessing you put the armour on a nearby flower pedestal, and that gives you an armour buff, I think. Then we've got the police bee. So this is a graduate and a valiant. There's a 10% chance there for it to mutate. And this is actually going to attack nearby mobs and pick up any items when they die. And it has a very, very high luck rating. And it'll also produce the police incident report. Then you've got sharpening. So that will sharpen weapons placed on nearby flower pedestals. Lumber bees. This is kind of cool, I guess. It's a good way to get wood. They bite small pieces of bark off of nearby trees. And the trees aren't permanently damaged, and then the pieces of bark can be crafted into full logs. So if I look here at a ferrous juniper log, you can put 4 of them into a piece of oak. And a lot of them don't really seem to have a recipe. I'm looking now, but yeah. So kind of useful, I guess. Then we have the husbandry one, and that is going to be a graduate and a meadows. And this will actually breed animals together within its territory. So that could be a really useful way of farming animals. The repair bee is going to repair items placed on nearby flower pedestals. So actually the flower pedestals do have a hell of a lot of uses. And this is a armourer and a sharpening bee together. Then you have the smelter bee, and this is going to smelt items placed on nearby flower pedestals. I guess you could kind of automate this, but otherwise it would be a really slow and boring process. I don't really think that'd be that fun. Then we have the honey smelter queen. That is the one that's going to give you the ingots. And you know, these give like honeycombs, parch combs. Yeah, nothing really exciting. But that is actually going to get you the ingots you need for the honey block gear and the BB gun. Then we have the business bee. So this is a PhD and an imperial bee. And this grabs items from adjacent inventories and sells them on the testificate market for emeralds. And it may take a small commission for each sale, apparently. Then you've got the butcher one. So this is actually really cool. It is a graduate and a lumber bee, a 50% chance to mutate. So really high mutation chances here. And what this is going to do is it will humanely, apparently, slaughter any grown animals in its territory. But it will keep a pair of each animal alive to breed. So if you have 2 pigs, say if you have 10 pigs and 10 sheep nearby, then it's going to slaughter them all, but it will keep 2 sheep and 2 pigs so they can keep breeding. So I think this is actually a really cool way of doing it. Then you have the Yente one, and that is a student and a husbandry bee. And the Yente one is, it will make matches for your bees. So you shift right click a Yente princess onto an apiary, and its breeding will be automated. Yente will always choose the drone that she judges to have the best traits for the princess. Wow. I need to start using this when I'm doing my bee breeding, because that is actually insane. Then you've got the Rainbow Queen, which is beautiful. And this is going to be an artistic and a PhD bee. And this will produce every colour of dye. Also very useful. Then we have the Mason Bee, which is a graduate and a Smelter Bee. And this is going to chisel nearby cobblestone into stone bricks. Fairly useful, I guess. Science Bee. This is PhD and Industrious. And I don't know what it does. So apologies there. Doctor Queen. And that is going to heal any entity within its territory and gives a regen effect. Very useful. This is a PhD and a Majestic. The Engineer Bee is a PhD and a Noble. Again, I don't know what this one does. Then you've got the Junk Seller. I'm guessing this is going to get rid of any junk or something. And this is a Business and a Common. Again, if you do know what these ones do, please just put it down in the comments below, because I'm really not sure. I couldn't work out what these ones do. The Thief Bee is going to steal items from nearby players. So on a server, I guess that could be kind of fun. A chef, and sorry, the way to make a Thief Bee is a police and a sinister. The chef is up next. I love its little cute hat it's got there. This is actually going to give a special honey glazing to any food item placed on a nearby flower pedestal. And then when eaten, the honey glazed food gives absorption hearts. So that's kind of cool. And that's an artistic and a smelter, randomly. The devil is the next one. And again, I'm not sure what it does, but it's a smelter and a demonic one. And it doesn't really say anything about it. Then we have the Priest, and this is going to enchant items placed on nearby flower pedestals, and their skills can be boosted with bookshelves, so kind of like an enchanting table. And this one is a graduate and a Yente. The Miner is a graduate and an engineer, and the Miner mines ores within the territory, ignoring Y restrictions. So kind of useful, I guess. Then you have the Silky Miner, which, you guessed it, mines ores the same way but with silk. And then you have the Tax Collector, and that is actually going to extract drops from nearby mobs without hurting or killing them. So that's kind of cool. You can get mob loot without actually killing anything. So that is very, very cool. Then you've got the Plague, and that's going to cure any negative potion effects on entities within its territory and provides a slight amount of healing. Then we've got the final ones here. You've got the Fortunate Miner, which is the one that gives fortune. Then we've got the Ore Crusher, and that is going to grind up any metal ores placed on flower pedestals to give 2 to 3 dust. So actually 2 to 3 dust is like quite good. The only other mod I know of in 1.12.2 that does that is Mechanism. Fortunate Miner is Miner and Silky Miner. Ore Crusher is Sharpening and a Mason. Then you've got the Clockwork Bee, and this is going to wind up clockwork engines in their territory, giving free power. Kind of cool, considering how awful the clockwork engines are in the base forestry mod. And these are Smelter and Engineers. The Mad Scientists. So this actually, to breed, must have been nearby an explosion in the last 10 seconds. And it advances scientific progress and only occasionally causes a random explosion. These explosions only break non-tile entity blocks. I don't know what it means when it says advances scientific progress, though. I'm getting this from the mod wiki, so interesting for that one. And that one is Science and Engineer. Then we've got the Electrician. That's going to zap nearby entities, causing a small amount of lightning damage and can have a strange effects on certain mobs and animals. And that one is going to be an Engineer and Clockwork. Then you've got the Assassin. And what the Assassin does is it instantly kills active queens in nearby hives. Place it in a bee gun for full regicide experience. Well, that seems counterintuitive, but okay. And that is the Police and the Devil. And then we've got the Quantum Charming, which is either a Mad Scientist and a Phasmantle, or a Quantum Strange and a Quantum Strange. And this is the one that's going to give you the Ying. And it also, by the way, This is which one is this? Quantum Charming. This is going to randomly swap nearby blocks of a similar material. And then the Quantum Strange is going to randomly swap nearby blocks of a similar material as well. And that, again, is a Mad Scientist and Phasmantle, or a Quantum Charming and a Quantum Charming. Oh, I see. So you can do these, like, to get, yeah, yin and yang. You can breed two of them to get the other one. And then this is how you get them originally. Okay, that's kind of cool. Then we've got the Robot Queen. So, again, I don't know what this does, but it's a clockwork and an electrician. And it gives a few different combs, I guess, but it may have another effect. Again, let me know in the comments if you can work out what these ones do. Then we've got the Politician Queen, and this does nothing. I think that's the idea of this one, is it doesn't do anything, and I think it's hilarious. It's made of a devil and a thief to get the Politician one. Then you've got the Temporal Bee. This one is a Quantum Charming and a Quantum Strange, and that is going to accelerate the flow of time within their territory. That's interesting. Then you've got the Energy Queen. That is actually going to make some RF, and that is a clockwork and a repair. And the RF is very, very small amounts. And then you've got the NCA Queen. And what that does is it can stop... It says the only thing that can stop a bad creeper about to explode is a good creeper about to explode. So I'm guessing this actually might protect against creeper explosions. And this is a devil and a politician, and that's the NCAB, and it does actually give a simmering, honey, and cocoa comb. So that is it. Oh, wow, that's a close-up. That is it for this mod guide, guys. I hope that was actually very useful. I'm really sorry that there was a few bees there that I just can't work out what they're for. And as I said, there are a few items that aren't fully implemented yet, like the pheromones and some of the frames, like the mutation frame. But overall, I think some of the effects that these bees give could make for really, really interesting playthroughs when you use them for, like, you know, like farming different animals or enchanting and things like that. So let me know in the comments below if you liked this, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe. If you do have any queries or questions about the mod, please feel free to leave a comment down below, or feel free to also join the Discord. Thank you guys, and I will see you in next week's video.